Welcome to another episode of Shenmue Talk. This is episode 2 and it's gonna be a bit of a salty one. I named it The Campaign Must Step Up. So what I was planning to do is to go through the entire Kickstarter site for Shenmue 3 and just discuss all the faults it currently has, actually. So let's start from the very top with the trailer that is here on the website. It's already sort of infamous among everyone who has seen it how bad it is. I mean, voices are horrible. I would have preferred personally that they would have just subtitled Yu Suzuki instead of having a voiceover. I mean, the graphics really does not give a good view of the old games and the style that we expect. I mean, and it's never said that this is just a prototype. It's just a boring and bad trailer, plainly as that. I mean, compare, for example, with Final Fantasy VII, the remake trailer. While that trailer perhaps says less, I mean, the number of views it has on Square Enix YouTube channel, it is 9.36 million views. Compare that with this one. This one has about 115,000 trailers on Sony's YouTube channel. And we're going to get back to this with social media presence, but I mean, arguably Final Fantasy VII, yes, the fan community is much larger, but this is not a very good job. And I also feel it's rushed out like a lot of things here. So the next critique I have is the social media part. I mean, given that also that the presence is really not good even on the Kickstarter site. I mean, they really should have prepared. I mean, just today they started their Twitter account. They're not present on Facebook. They don't have a YouTube channel, etc. This really should have been prepared from the get-go. Similarly, I mean, the fan base, really wonderful. Shout outs to all of you. You do a great job. But I mean, there's no incentive from the Kickstarter site compared with, for example, Bloodstained, for us to do this work. There are no small community goals or no particular encouragement for this fan participation compared with Bloodstained. It doesn't have to be there, but I mean, again, it's just a complete lack of presence and response to the fans, so to speak. Furthermore, I mean, so far all the statements I think that the team has made and what we can see on the campaign side, I mean, it's just in general quite uninformative. I mean, what is the deal with Sony? I just come from a discussion with several people on a large gaming forum. They all believe that Sony funds the majority of this development. And really, who can blame them? I mean, there's an extremely weak disclosure and there's no breakdown on the figures on the campaign site that explains this. Sure, we have had Yu Suzuki on Reddit saying something different, but I mean, it's not really the best place to announce this thing. This should be clear on the site here, and you know, I really think that gaming media really are just doing their job and drawing what I consider to be the natural conclusion, and it's really the job of it's a task they have ahead of themselves, the staff of this Kickstarter, to comment and possibly fight faulty info, and they should have done it with being more transparent on how things work here. This is not typically how. I mean, this is typically not this little information on the Kickstarter about these things. And the whole presentation here in the beginning about what is Shenmue 3 and the characters and all this really assumes quite much familiarity with the old games and how they play. I mean, this really says nothing. I mean, look at this quote. Shenmue 3 will have familiar elements from its predecessor and new fight mechanics to achieve a new level of interactive storytelling. That says almost nothing to someone who hasn't played those games, or really it does say nothing. And I mean, that's just not enough. It needs to be explained more what type of game it is, what will be kept from the old games, what type of games were they, etc. I mean, more information all over the place. Same goes, I think, with the character presentation, which I also think is a bit too large, because just having these pictures, it says very little about the characters, and it says nothing for those who have not played the old games. I think this could be made smaller. It's a bit of that's a scroll folder session, really. A little bit similar with the project member session. It's good that it's there and that it's quite explanatory, but maybe it should be further down the site. And together with more info on how the collected funds will be distributed. I mean, the answer in the FAQ is just not enough on that question, I think. Again, I mean, similar critique for the reward section here. It is long, but still manages to be quite uninformative. It's good enough, but it could be better. I mean, for example, we start with the digital copy for PC. We have no info if it's DRM free or not. So if there is such an option, you have to scroll down to the FAQ to read that there won't be such a thing. When can we expect the trial version for PC that you get with a $100 pledge and above? What else do we have here? Well, this is also, if we look at the $5, but you don't have to write, maybe includes a $5 reward on every single other reward, as that reward only gives you excuse me, the opportunity to participate in surveys and vote in polls for the IDs you want to see in the game. Just repeat this sentence instead, and instead now I have to scroll back and forward just to find out this quite pointless little thing compared with other things. And I also think the physical reward should be explained much better. For example, why does, if I go from $100 to $120, I get one plastic toy, but if I go from $300 to $500, for example, I get 3 plastic toys. So 3 plastic toys is $200, one is $20. This is a bit unbalanced, and it's not really clear why. I mean, this is, yeah, I just think it could be better. I mean, of course, a lot of us just want to, make the game better. We understand that the money go to that, but yeah, it's just strange, and it's too little information, I think, for someone who spends $500 about these rewards. It certainly doesn't look so good on these pictures. I hope they won't look like that. Also, yeah, like I said, the gaps are a bit too big. There's nothing in between, for example, $60 and $100. There's nothing in between $500 and $3,000, and the $3,000 tier is not even there in the information. These are all things that need to be fixed. Simple as that. Stretch goals, same thing there. I mean, this lack of details on everything that is not obvious. What is the report system? What is the skill tree system? I mean, it's some of them are obvious, language subtitles and so on, but these things should be explained better. I also think here there are some gaps. For example, from $2 to $2.5 million, $3.5 to $4 million. There's really not much happening in between the days right now during the slow period. We're not going to reach those 4 million in quite a while. It would have been nice to have had something there. Same thing's going to happen again when we go above, hopefully 4.6 million. It's going to be another 400,000 until 5 million. Try to squeeze in a few things there. That would be good, I think, to have these more intermediate goals, even if they are less. And then we come to the really sad part, the FAQ, with the very little response we've had so far, together with the updates. And if we look, for example, at the first question, can you make an open world game for just $2 million? We are very sorry, but due to contractual obligations, details of outside investment will not be disclosed. I mean, this is really not typical to say something like this on Kickstarter. Compare with Bloodstained, Mighty Number 9, etc. These things have been obvious from the get-go. I don't understand why it doesn't have to be that here. I can accept it, but it's not the standard thing to have on Kickstarter. And if we look at other platforms, will there be an Xbox, Wii U, Linux, Mac version of Shenmue 3? I mean, this answer, if platforms versions were added as rewards, an announcement would be made on the update page. I hope the creators of this Kickstarter understand how pointless such an announcement would be when there's only a few days or a week left of this campaign. I mean, there's going to be very few who have already seen and left the page who haven't seen their platform there. And yeah, I mean, this is, yeah. The final thing I was thinking along the question, how will the funds be raised? How will the funds raised through Kickstarter be used? I mean, this answers nothing of the question. I know the questions that have been asked about how the funding will be used. usually what you see is some little pie chart or something, just something, because I think it's relevant, because what are the old Shenmue games? What if people know something about the old Shenmue games is that they were very expensive. That's the first thing that you see. Very expensive to do, and you know, somewhat of a breakdown that the team has an idea how this money will be used in order to really succeed in this development. Just something like as a small pie chart. Right now it feels like there's no idea. I mean, everything, it will go to development. That says very little or nothing. And if we move on to the update section, there's similar problems there. Too infrequent, uninformative, and simply a bit unenthusiastic, I feel. Again, why do two versions of the videos when they are like today when they interview the voice actor of Ryo? I mean, there's one dub version. Why not just subtitle the Japanese version? It's a lot of extra work, I would feel, and most would be fine with subtitled version of the video only. And the only good thing I've seen in the last update really is that rest assured your voice have been heard. I hope that is really true, because it is starting to get urgent. And maybe the most sad section, but it's not really, this is partially Kickstarter's fault, but go to the comment section. I mean, the structure is lousy and I hate it. It's terrible. If I want to read any old comments, just have to scroll and update for new comments. And really there has been, based on this system, I can somewhat almost understand it, that it's so terrible, this system, but there really should not be next to no interaction from the organizers with the people writing here. So many times the same question is just repeated, and I mean the all other Kickstarters that I have been, and I have been participating in quite many Kickstarters, and in all of them I have seen quite much interaction with the people writing here. It doesn't have to be someone sitting there full time, but at least, you know, if there is a question that is repeated 5-10 times or whatever, at least try to answer. It should be going quicker than doing a perfect update to send out, for example. So all in all, my feeling, I probably missed a few things. There's a lot of critique. I really don't have the energy to scroll through the entire comment section and see all the critique against this campaign so far. But I think I've hit some of the most important ones, at least. That I know many of them have been mentioned. My overall feeling is that this Kickstarter was rushed for E3 in order to get it out and start at that exact date, because honestly, had it been anything else but Shenmue 3, I'm not sure I would have put in money. Certainly not as much money as I have put into this now. I would not have put in with this very lousy presentation. And it would, I mean, without the familiar name and the familiar faces in the campaign, it would almost reek of being a not very trustworthy Kickstarter. So, yeah. Come on, try to improve this, please. And so that's that. I have got all of that out of my system. It will probably be a while now until I do another Shenmue Talk video, or at least very likely it will be so. I need to do other things now for the coming days. I will keep the stats updated on the website. You can see a link below the description where I put it out. You can also see my introductory video and the back in news video I did this morning with this statistics, or the statistics I'm talking about. But for now, let's hope for the best, that everything improves, and I will see you again. Bye.